Here's what I would say to Jonathan. If that's what really, really makes you tick, if you have the utmost confidence in yourself and you know you're going to be that dude, you're going to be an all-star player in this league, and you just need some schmuck to get out of your way and give you 37 minutes a night, if that's all this is about, well, then do it. Take the QO. Again, they tried to strike a chord of, sure, like we're just chilling here. I just don't see that as chilling. I saw this as a very, very a move of desperation coming from frustration. In the fact that I very much, my perception right now is those of you expecting the Warriors to move again on a contract offer is not going to happen. I would be shocked if that happened.
I don't think that they're going to move up in the money because the offer's already patently fair. It's a good number. It's a fair number. And they don't want to get into that second apron. And he actually addressed it, Aaron Turner. He said, we don't want to have to get them into the second apron and have it hamstring their ability to still improve the team around the core and Jonathan Kuminga and all the rest of it. So, yeah, the money's not going to go any higher. They already tacked on an extra year from the previous offer, so now it's $3 and $75, and they're not going to move off of their team option, because if they do that, then all of a sudden a trade with Jonathan involved, you get a lot less back, because the team that's going to acquire him, they're going to want as much control as they possibly can.
100%. Let's start with Ed in Benicia. Hi, Ed. Thank you for calling. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
All right. What's up is if Jonathan Kuminga and his agent are foolish enough to do the qualified offer, the only person to blame for this situation other than those two people is Joe Lacob. Joe Lacob is the guy that pushed for Kuminga to be drafted when there were coaches and scouts with the Warriors who wanted somebody else, namely the guy that's making $245 million down in Orlando.
Franz Wagner.
Same thing happened when Wiseman. When Wiseman got drafted, there were elements in the organization that did not want Wiseman. They wanted somebody else. If they take that qualified offer, it's on Joe Lacob's account only. That's what my comment is.
Yeah, Ed, that's an interesting thanks for calling, man. Appreciate you listening. Look, I always have a hard time going back in time and just receiving as gospel what we've heard about who got drafted and why and who in the organization said this, that, and the other. I know what Ed is saying in Slater's report, which I believe 100%, is that back in the day there were those in the organization pushing for someone else with that seventh pick. Franz Wagner's name came up. So I'm sure there were, but I don't know that that's ever not the case. Like, it's a whole organization of people. I got to imagine that it's rare. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Were there people in the Bears organization that were like, hey, boss, Jaden Daniels? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So is it fully Joe Lacob's fault? I don't know that he went out and just made this decision by himself. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I get where Ed is coming from, but I'd also answer it this way, and I think you're with me on this. I'd be very, very surprised at this hour if this ends up on the qualifying offer.
I'd be stunned.
That would be – I've always thought it was a bad idea, and the comments from Aaron Turner today would suggest that they agree that it would be a very bad idea.
Right, and the team doesn't want that either, because then it's a guy who's not happy playing for $7.9 million, and even if you get to the spot where you could trade him, and he'd have to okay a trade. So now the Warriors find a team that will take Kuminga, and Kuminga agrees to be dealt before the deadline, and you get $8 million back worth of player. And if you want to look at the list of guys who make about that much, you're not going to get a difference maker. You're not going to get a player who is as good as Kuminga. Kuminga making 7.9, he'll probably be the best player in the league making less than $8 million.
For sure.
Outside of maybe a rookie, somebody on a rookie deal. I don't even know what Wemby makes, but it's probably not a ton, because that's the way you get slotted in the association. So the team doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. They're going to have to find a way to figure this out. And the only figuring it out, I think, from the Warriors side is come on in and you can take the 2-year contract. We hold the option. You could take the 3-year contract. We hold the option, or what, guys? Because we're not doing the player option.
So, nor should they. They shouldn't.
Well, especially if you're looking to trade him. And if we can just take the premise that if he signs, when he signs, that both sides are going to look to trade him. Like Kuminga's going to work on finding a team, and they're going to work on getting him out. Then the Warriors need to have that number be big and the contract be ironclad to where Kuminga, if he's acquired, has to be that team's player.
The number is commensurate with what the other teams put on the table in front of him as well. Maybe it had another year on it or something, but this is about what the Suns were reportedly offering. This is about what the Kings are reportedly offering. We've arrived at a spot where it sounds to us, and I think Aaron Turner, he confirmed all of this. You're going to turn down, and again, I'll just go with the guarantees. You're going to turn down essentially $50 million and instead take $8 million solely so that there is a player option in the third year, which means you get to potentially be a free agent 2 seasons from now, a year earlier than what you would anyway. And the fear there is that you might get traded somewhere you don't want to go. Odd to me. That's an odd request. You already seemingly want to be anywhere that will play you. It's not like the Kings and Suns are just banner organizations who are crushing it right now, aren't they? Like they're both dumpster fires. And you want to be there. So why is Charlotte so scary? Why is Washington and New Orleans so scary?
I don't think anything is so scary, but he wants to be able to have the control.
Well, but
he wants to call the shot.
You don't get it.
Well, he could after a year. He gets it.
Right, but here's the control will cost you $42 million.
Well, potentially. You could go out there and sign a free agent deal and immediately recoup it. And you're assuming that if he plays on the qualifying offer for 7.9, then he's going to go out and not get a penny? He's going to get something. So
of course.
You're not costing now the guaranteed.
But he'd be getting that anyway.
Yourself the guaranteed money, perhaps.
Yeah.
But if you play on the qualifying offer and you think that there are 5 or 6 teams out there that they want you, and that's what the agent was saying today. He's like, yeah, we've had conversations with Sacramento and Phoenix, and there's other teams also that we've talked to because he's a free agent. He's allowed to, restricted, but he's allowed to talk to teams. I'm sure the agent has canvassed the league, and they've figured out what is possibly going to be out there after a year.
Aaron Turner, agent for Jonathan Kuminga, was asked what matters more for Jonathan going forward, money or his role?
I think it's clear. I mean, if he could prioritize, it's the role, but that's not really existent right now, right? Like you can only get the role on the place that you can get to, and right now you can't get to those spots. So yes, I mean, I think the fact that, he's very open-minded, to Sacramento, to Phoenix, and some of the other teams that we've talked to says that. I mean, he wants a bigger role. No one's hiding from that. He's not hiding from that. But on any great team, right, somebody has to sacrifice. It's 100% needed to win at the highest level. And sometimes you got to do stuff you don't want to do or necessarily, put your personal agenda behind you to win. So I think, the role would be the coveted thing for him, but that's just, at this moment, not an option. Unless the Warriors do one of these 2 sign and trade. Sorry. But right now, it's just not.
Yeah. Okay. Unless they do one of the 2 sign and trade options, which feel dormant.
Completely.
The Kings and Suns stuff.
I'm just looking at the Kings offered 3 years between 63 and 66. This offers better. Phoenix was reportedly 4 years between 80 and 88 million. This offers better.
In terms of AAV, those are fully guaranteed.
Correct. Yeah, one would be between 20 and 22 a year. The other one would be between 21 and 22 a year. And the Warriors are offering roughly 25 a year. But the caveat being they want the team option for the third year.
So Steiny asked Aaron Turner, like point blank, like, really? You could turn down like that amount of money over this argument to take a qualifying offer? Listen to the answer.
It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but if you know JK, he's somebody that he has principle, right? He's very grounded in who he is, and we've gone over the risk of the qualifying offer. I mean, to nauseam at this point in the summer. We've looked at it. We have I like to think a pretty smart group around him. we've got some insurance policies that hedge out a lot of the risk. We're not very worried about the on-court play. We'd be more worried of just keeping them healthy. So we've been able to hedge out, with some insurance policies that'll definitely help if we had to go down that route. As far as would you lose money this year? Yeah. Would you lose money next year? Probably. But if you go where you want and you are the player you think you're going to be, JK, then yeah, in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, we could say that's the best decision you ever made. If you want the upside to choose your spot where you feel great, you're going to have to probably take some risk, but that's how it works, right? Like risk, reward. And JK is not risk averse. I mean, if you know the backstory of him, he came over here when he was a kid, didn't see his parents for 6 years and coming over from the Congo. Like, this is a guy that believes in himself, has bet on himself every step of the way. So to say, now he's going to change at this point, I don't, is that going to happen? I don't think so.
I thought that was his best moment, because that's where I will agree. And it's not for me, that's not about Kuminga. That's about any human being out there. Like, there's absolutely no price on your happiness and the peace of mind. So if that's what you want, because here's what I would say to Jonathan. If that's what really, really makes you tick, okay? If you have the utmost confidence in yourself and you know you're going to be that dude, you're going to be an all-star player in this league, and you just need some schmuck to get out of your way and give you 37 minutes a night, if that's all this is about, well, then do it. Do it. Take the QO. I don't think the Warriors are getting in your way. In fact, they can't. They legally can't.
Right.
So do it.
And they were going to play him if he's still here and he talked about eating minutes. Kuminga's a guy who he's eating minutes and he's young. And so, yeah, they will play him. And yeah.
And here's more from Turner with regard to Kuminga and the qualifying offer.
Do we want to take the QO? No, nobody wants to take the QO. I don't think we would be lying if I said that's ideal. The hope is, we can get something figured out. But if he does take it, it's not going to be a good feeling for him. With the fact that he actually puts that pen to paper on October 1st, it's not something that he is going to be very happy that we got to that situation and had to do that. I think it's a possibility. It's not something we want to do, but look, it's hard for me as his agent. I'm looking for a deal where I can, and I think the player option does that, where I can stand on the table and say, we're taking this deal. There's nothing to talk about. We're taking this deal. But with what's on the table right now, I have to be a little more, respective of JK, and his understanding. And if he wants to stand, to a degree on like, hey, I think it's fair that we don't do this deal, then I understand it. Right. I do. I don't think it's at a point where if his principle is, I don't think this is fair to me, I don't want to do it. Well, I kind of have to respect that.
There were moments where it sounded like veiled threats were being made. If you do this, Jonathan he'll sign, but he'll be disgruntled, and he will be mad.
Sure.
And he will, and I don't think that's going to go well. It's not like there were moments. I'm paraphrasing. There were moments where I felt like these were veiled threats at the organization of, if you don't blink, if you don't give us a player option, well, then we're forced to take the qualifying offer, and you're going to get a puddle of anger
to show
up in your clubhouse.